Greetings, everyone. Mike Barnes here with Asheville Guitar, and today we're honoring the memory of Ozzy Osbourne, who passed away just recently. And when I was a kid, I was really into kind of the heavier music. So I think maybe my cousin, I'm not sure who turned me on to this record, but the first Black Sabbath album came out in 1970, I believe. 1970. And this was the first album by Black Sabbath, and it featured the song Black Sabbath, of course. And they got the name from Boris Karloff movie. Well, it's not really a Boris Karloff movie, but he was kind of the presenter of these three horror flicks that were kind of a compilation called Black Sabbath. And they got that name from that movie. And this first album, of course, has the scary-looking witch on the cover. And here's the back, you know. You see the raven up there. But Black Sabbath, this first album was really influential on me. And it when I first heard it, kind of scared me to death. Scared my parents, too. They didn't really appreciate this record because it's kind of got that dark atmosphere about it. But that's kind of the first true heavy metal album, it was all real heavy, right? And it had, The Wizard, Wasp, Behind the Wall of Sleep, basically NIB, Wicked World, A Bit of Finger, Sleeping Village, Warning, which is kind of three. Bit of Finger, Sleeping Village, Warning is just one song, one tune. There's 14 minutes and 32 seconds, right? So a pretty long tune on there on the second side. This is a great starting point for Black Sabbath. The next album I got was Paranoid. And Paranoid opens up with a gatefold, and you see Ozzy over there and in the band, It's got some great tracks. It's got War Pigs, Paranoid, Planet Caravan, Iron Man, Electric Funeral, Hand of Doom, Rat Salad, Fairies Red Boots. And of course, they were going to call this album War Pigs, but the record label was a little scared of that title at the time, and they convinced them to call it Paranoid. But so the cover had already been shot, thinking it was going to be War Pigs, but they changed it to Paranoid. But great record to get started with Black Sabbath. That would be one. Next one that I got when I was young was Black Sabbath, Masters of Reality, and there's also a band called Masters of Reality that you should check out. They have some kind of heavy tracks that came around in 1980s. 80s, 90s maybe. And this particular record has Sweet Leaf, After Forever, Embryo, Children of the Grave, Orchard, Lord of this World, Solitude, Into the Void. And this album kind of was the first album that Tony Iommi tuned way down for. He tuned his guitar really low for this to make it sound really heavy and make up for, try to make it sound as thick as possible with a three-piece band with a vocalist, actually a four-piece band, but three instrumentals and three instrumentalists, and Ozzy singing over the top of it. But that's a great record. And one of the last Black Sabbath albums I purchased was Black Sabbath Volume 4, right? So Black Sabbath Volume 4 had some great tracks on it, and this is a gatefold album too. This has some kind of pages you can turn to. You see the whole band. There you see Ozzy and Geezer, and then on the other side you see Tony and Bill Ward, right? But this is a great record. This is probably one of my favorite Sabbath records. It's got Wheels of Confusion, Tomorrow's Dream, Changes. Effects is just a track with just kind of a sound effects, really, just kind of a short sound effect track. And then Supernaut, I played in a band when I was really young with a friend of mine, Ronnie Bergen, and I remember playing Supernaut when we were probably 13 or 14, I guess. Cornucopia, Laguna Sunrise is a nice kind of instrumental track that's not as heavy. It's kind of more of an acoustic type of sound. Saint Vitus Dance and Under the Sun. So that's a really great record. Now after that, I kind of got into other things and kind of more into the jazz fusion world with Mahavishnu and started listening to Pat Martino and wasn't into their albums beyond Volume 4, but they're all great. I've kind of recently checked them out, and they're really good. But those are the first 4 that I got that were really influential. I'm also going to feature this pedal called Sabbra Cadabra. That's a Catalinbread pedal, and I think Sabbra Cadabra came off of Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. That was a tune on the 5th record by Black Sabbath. But anyway, I hope you enjoy this, and I'm going to feature that pedal now. So what we have here is a Catalinbread Sabracadabra. So it's kind of a pedal that basically is Black Sabbath in a pedal. It's like Tony Iommi, that Tony Iommi sound in a pedal. So I'm going to set everything to 12 o'clock, and we'll see how it sounds. So click it on. Of course, you've got volume, which is kind of cool. They have a volume 4, and they have range, they have gain, and presence. So everything's set at 12 right now. So I'll give you just a little sample of that. Now, so if I take the presence, I'm going to crank it to 12. Really helps the cut through the mix. Now we'll take that back to 12, and we'll put the volume. We're going to leave the volume at about 12 o'clock. Now we can really crank the gain up. So there's the gain all the way up. Now you have the range, which is and the range is kind of like your Tone Ranger that they used to use the Tone Ranger into a Laney. So that's kind of what this range is. So if I crank it up a little bit here, gain. Now you can hear Tony starts to add bass into that Tone Ranger circuit. So that's just kind of the Tone Ranger by itself. Now when you add that in, it adds the bass. I kind of like that bass in there, I'm going to put a little reverb on the sound. It's a pretty cool pedal, man. It gets you pretty close to that Tony Iommi sound. Going for a Black Sabbath tone, this is a really good pedal to have. I've had it for quite a while and don't use it too much, but it's I'm kind of honoring the death of Ozzy, rest in peace. And I thought I would go ahead and share this pedal with you. I hope you enjoyed that, and we'll see you next time. Please like and subscribe, and peace and love. See you. Bye.